Good evening. This is Philip Achmed, So Beloved. I'm from Mombasa, Kenya. Tonight we're going to go over I'm going to talk about judgmentalism first of all, and then we're going to go over some of my recent writings plus some excerpts from the book, Messages of Awakening. First, let's talk about judgmentalism. What is judgmentalism? Judgmentalism is similar to accusation. When you judge others, you're actually accusing them of wrongdoing. However, our Father Jesus said in the Bible, do not judge, lest you be judged by the standard which you judge. So why did he say that? It's really simple. When you get into judgmentalism and you start judging others, you're basically standing in the position of Satan accusing man before God. So accusation and judgmentalism go hand in hand. Unfortunately, because of the egoic nature that has invaded most religions, people, and especially religious people, get caught up in judgmentalism. They become self-righteous. They become holier than thou. And why do they do that? They do that because they have a sense of inferiority about themselves, and they're looking to put down the other in order to exalt themselves. This is not God's way. In the Bible it says clearly, if you exalt yourself, you will be humbled. And if you humble yourself, you will be exalted. So judgmentalism is wrong. Do not judge others. You have enough to deal with your own circumstances and your own unconsciousness, your own sin, that you shouldn't be judging others. Jesus said, take the big log out of your eye before you try to remove the speck from your brother's. So once again, do not judge. Accept every person as they are. Pray for them if you want. If you see some darkness in others, do not say anything, but pray for them. That's the way to deal with darkness, in yourself and in others. Unless you're enlightened, unless you have become open to the divine completely and beyond the satanic dominion of death, you have no right to judge anybody. You have no right to judge anybody. Okay? And don't judge yourself. Accept yourself and forgive yourself if you find yourself in darkness. The light is coming. Every soul is in the process of enlightenment. Every soul is in the process of going from the dark to the light. Each one is at a different stage. So we're all on the journey together. And once enlightened, the responsibility is to lead everyone else to the light, not just to enjoy it for yourself. That's the path of the Bodhisattva. Now let's read what I wrote today. As you get closer and closer to enlightenment, you will feel more and more fear and angst. Why? Because your ego mind does not want enlightenment. That is the last thing that it wants, because it means it will lose control of your consciousness. That is the central dynamic of life. Do I want to continue in the comfort of my ego prison, or become free and awaken my soul to flourish? The gate is narrow that leads to moksha, liberation. Moksha, nirvana, enlightenment, spiritual awakening, all these things are the same. So when we start feeling fear and angst, this is the ego in us, the ego virus in us, feeling this fear and angst. There is no such thing as psychological fear. It's just an illusion. It's an illusion of the ego. So when you have psychological fear, as I've stated before, you're basically in a mind projection about something in the future that worries you, that gives you anxiety. And this is all created by the ego mind. Remember, consciousness, God, life, eternity all exist in the present moment. And that's all there is. There is no such thing as past and future except in the mind. In the mind, the past are memories, and the future is a projection about what's going to happen in the future, a mind projection. The ego dominates past and future, and God dominates the present. So when you get pulled into the past or into the mind projecting the future, ego is taking you there to take you away from the present, which is where you find God. Okay? So that's very important to understand. Now let's go to message of awakening. We'll pray. Dear Father, please lead us and guide us in this message. Give us the exact words that we need for this moment, this eternal moment, this one moment forever and ever. Amen. And you open the book, and this is what it says. I need to get my glasses. Hold on. Just give me a second. Soul couples. Soul couples. Most marriages or life partnerships start with a bang. Physical or sexual attraction, progressing into the heat of passion. Huge wedding celebration with lots of hope and expectation for the future. The greater those expectations, the more likely there will be disappointment and heartache, as life itself doesn't match up to the preconceived expectation. Almost all marriages eventually develop into two categories. Number one, into the category of peaceful coexistence. This is a very shallow relationship that develops when each partner disappoints the other one in many different ways. However, because of fear of failure and the fear of being alone, not knowing what the future will bring, and the disillusionment from the great expectation of the beginning, the couple stays together in some kind of coexistence. Number two is the gradual and sometimes rapid deterioration of the relationship into the great drama of the ego game. The ego game can last for a long time and take on many forms, including infidelity, dishonesty, mental and physical abuse, and more often than not wind up in divorce. In reality, this relationship never happened because this was simply the ego manifesting itself on each side of the partnership, feeding on itself. There was never true heart-to-heart and soul-to-soul spiritual relationship because the core essence of each partner, which is their divine nature. Ultimately, no one is to blame except the ego. If they truly understood this, they could forgive each other and possibly get back on the path of the spiritual journey together, which is what marriage is meant to be. There are rare occasions, however, when the partnership or marriage stays on the spiritual path, even though it may go through many bumps and bruises. The couple learns to recognize the true self or divine nature in each other, and that recognition creates an ever-deepening dimension of love, peace, joy, and unity that is totally beautiful. If you look back at some of the famous soul couples that you know, those who are famous for or not, maybe you know some personally, the evidence of this reality is profound. Hugh Cronin and Jessica Tandy, George Burns and his wife, I forget her name, Christopher Reeve and his wife. There are many couples which we could call soul couples. However, compared to the rest of humanity, are a slight minority. The light of radiance of their union has created a memory in all of us. Look at your partnership or marriage. Which direction is it heading? Are both of you getting lost in the ego game and being taken over completely by the possession of the mind and the veil of separation that it creates? Or are you walking together among the mysterious path of the soul journey? May we all find that path. Sage advice from heaven. So a relationship can be heaven or hell, or it can be the journey along the process from hell to heaven. Usually it starts with a big bang. Usually it starts with great expectations and passion and fire, but primarily biological. And then it can develop in many ways. It can be peaceful coexistence, it can be the great ego game, and it can be a soul journey, a journey of two souls merging into one and becoming enlightened together. May that be your journey. Thank you so much. Amen to the Amen.